Jai Guru.
Hello, Sadguru. I just got on.
Yeah, so did I.
How's your throat? You sound like something stuck in your throat there.
No, no, I'm good.
Oh,
All's
okay.
well.
Well, not your throat, the body's throat. Whatever.
Indeed.
Uh, yeah, I was thinking about a little bit about the particular language like you and Ramakant use, and you sort of seem to keep it somewhat to a minimum around a certain. I mean, it's going to be conceptual. You can't avoid that, but I think you probably try to minimize the conceptual aspect of it, um, because sometimes I get a conceptual aspect or runs away with me, and I forget. I can forget that I'm dealing in concepts and not in the present reality. Like I was just
That sense of presence. If you just drop back into that sense of presence and just remain there,
yeah, yeah,
then
right.
the only thing in your awareness is the sense of presence, and that like it gets rid of concepts almost immediately.
Yeah, it's taken a while, but it is becoming gradually, easier to do. It's just like you say, like riding a bike. Uh, but that's for the body, from the body perspective, of course. It's not that you're learning something that's new. You're learning something that's always been there, I guess.
Yeah, once you stop identifying yourself as a body in a world, that's pretty much it. And
Mm.
first step would be identifying as the sense of presence. Oh, this is myself. And
Yeah,
then remaining with the sense of presence.
yeah,
That presence has appeared to you. But as soon as you identify with the sense of presence, you get rid of body, mind, world, ego, intellect, all that gone. You won't entertain any concepts because it'll be like a
yeah,
fantasy story.
yeah. But it takes a while to get used to not valuing the old way of
Well, it's not a matter of not valuing. You just remain with
yeah,
the sense of presence. In
yeah,
meditation, you start to feel the presence. Oh, you place your identification on that formless presence.
yeah,
That's this I am, so to speak.
yeah,
And then after some time of identifying with a sense of presence, you know, oh, this presence is known.
yeah.
But yeah, the easiest, you don't want to sit there and try and block anything. You just identify with the sense of presence. I'm more like this sense of presence than I am this body form.
Hmm.
Body is occurring within that sense of presence. And Nisargadatta Maharaj says, if at all you want to compare, compare yourself to sky or space. So
Yeah, which is
but if you believe there's a chance like, oh, I'm this body and I'm going through this spiritual experience and sometimes I feel presence and sometimes I don't, then that's a body thing
yeah, right. That's a
because
perspective.
you are a presence. So once you identify with that sense of presence, that's it. Then body doesn't do anything for you anymore. And you can't ask questions about the presence. It's like, well, if I'm formless presence, you can't form a question. So any question you form, oh, I'm just a little bit confused right now, believing that I'm a body trying to have a spiritual experience, when in reality I'm the presence.
Mhm. And that's that.
And that's that. Once you have the direct recognition, the direct experience of your own selfless self as a sense of presence through your meditation, that's it. And as you identify with the sense of presence, of course, you're not going to be entertaining thoughts or concepts. You go about your job, do your duties, whatever you need to do in the moment. All this is occurring within myself. without even having to say it. As you, again, your awareness is on this sense of presence as myself, then there's a knowingness that, oh, where the presence is or is not, I am.
Mhm.
Presence is like the doorway into the illusory world. The sense of presence, I feel I exist, then an illusory world is opened. When I remain with myself as self, sense of presence is known, but I'm the formless knower of the sense of presence. With nothing really to know, just you're self-evident.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm. Hmm. But you could still have memories, but then you, well, I
So
was,
again, memories there, you're saying, okay, I believe I'm a body having a spiritual experience, or I'm a body that is having the experience of formless presence because I have memories.
but
Memories are within the bubble of illusion.
there are no memories actually. In a
Within
sense.
the bubble of illusion, everything's possible.
Yeah.
Just like in a dream at night, it's formless. There's all the little dream characters doing all these sort of stuff, and it all appears very real. And you know this because the formless presence that you are is allowing for all this form-based existence to appear, but it's appearing within you.
Hmm.
But yeah, as soon as you have a doubt or a concept, you have to know that, oh, I must be trying to identify as a body form
And,
because otherwise it wouldn't make sense. If I'm
yeah.
trying to entertain this, then I'm not yet convinced that I'm formless presence. After the conviction, as Maharaj would say, spontaneous conviction, that's it. There's no
Hmm.
oh, I might be or I might not be, or sometimes I'm present, sometimes I'm not. No, my conviction is I am formless presence, the formless holder of the body.
But usually my conviction is that I am something that I can remember or know or feel is my
In the bubble
own.
of illusion, that's true.
Yeah.
Within the bubble of illusion, you can dream you're a fish.
Yeah, you feel like you're
So
a fish. Yeah. Yeah.
all sorts of illusory happenings can happen within the bubble of illusion. But when you know yourself in a real sense, then you're not entertained by these nonsense, silly illusions. And you still like it, do your
I guess
job, do your
I
duties,
guess, I
take care
guess
of your responsibility.
but I still get wrapped up in attributing value and identity to my experiences, like say music. I'll forget that it's not that this is the illusion of passing experience, and I'll forget, and that it's
But that's only because you still believe yourself to be a body.
yeah, yeah, but that's involved. That's part of the implication, but it's all these implications feed each other.
But again, the root cause is because you believe
Yeah,
that this sense of existence, this presence, this I am,
yeah,
is this body.
because that's what I was taught. That's part of it anyway.
And now you're being untaught. You're being told the absolute truth that you can investigate for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Don't take Sri Ramakant Maharaj's word for it, or Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj, or Sri Siddhameshwar Maharaj. Don't take anybody's word for it. Investigate and find for yourself because it's the truth, so it's very
Yeah,
easily discoverable.
yeah. And of course, I wouldn't be paying attention to you or Ramakan if I didn't trust you. And so you must be, it must be true what you're saying.
Well, but it's better to know for your own self.
Yeah, yeah. And then it does gradually become
It's,
self-evident, like you
you
say.
you have the self-evident direct experience of your own selfless self, and then you could line up 100 people to tell you, no, 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 that's not true, or you should just go back to being a good Christian or a good Jewish guy or a good
Yeah,
Muslim guy or something and stop all this nonsense. But once you know yourself in a real sense,
yeah,
1,000 people can be telling you that that's not the truth, but
yeah.
like it's direct experience, direct knowing of your own selfless self.
Yeah, yeah, you don't, and you can't doubt it anymore.
You can't be a doubt. Doubts are automatically removed when you know yourself. That's why Sri Ramakant Maharaj says it's so important to do the meditation
Mm,
in the beginning
mm,
until that sense of presence and the conviction, oh, so I am this, I am that,
mm,
so that I. And when you identify with the formless presence, automatically you're no longer identifying with the body. And then a thought comes, oh, it's
mm,
raining outside. Okay, take out an umbrella or whatever, you're holding this body form, but you're no longer like creating stories about it because it's just a spontaneous action in the moment. Raining, get an umbrella. Hot, dress for warm or, dress shorts and such. Cold, put a coat. But it's no longer a whole story that has to be told about each and every little thing because you're formless.
I, I'll, my well, my way of talking about it, uh, I can come up with the idea that there's two senses of presence, one that's illusory and one that's
One
real,
sense of presence is
real
illusory
sense.
because
What?
that's the sense of existence. It's not needed. The
Yeah,
one who exists doesn't need to know the knowledge of existence, but yet there's a knowingness. And
yeah,
that's the first step into the illusion. I exist. I exist then as, oh, I exist as this body.
yeah, yeah. Gotta
No
admit it.
experience is not illusory. There's never an experience that's not illusory.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Makes sense.
All body relations, all body knowledge,
But
all experience, everything is within the bubble of
yeah,
illusion.
yeah. I don't have to
That's why Sri
remember.
Ramakant Maharaj says, no experience, no experiencer, no witness, no witnesser.
Hmm. Then the it seems like there's different depths of presence experience, but I guess that's still part of the illusion.
All
Like,
experience is illusion
yeah, I
and
mean,
can be discarded.
because I'm talking about sort of like experiences of bliss. Like, it's not the bliss is still an experience, I guess.
Yeah.
And so,
Any
but
experience is within the bubble of illusion and can be discarded.
mm,
But as long as you feel yourself to be a separate individual having experiences, you're going to be caught up in them.
mm,
Even spiritual experiences. That's why Maharaj says miraculous spiritual experiences, they may occur, but leave them. Don't spend so much time on this.
mm,
Where people who get into spirituality, they start experiencing some of the siddhas. Maybe now who knows what is happening, but you feel like, ooh, I can say things and they happen. And this builds spiritual ego and again reinforces that I'm a body in a world. I'm an individual who can alter something.
yeah. In Buddhism, they call that Rudra of ego or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. The ego is I exist. Even presence is illusion. Yes, correct. The first illusion.
If you don't, like some people that don't understand what, if you're talking about something real of the heart or something, they'll say it, oh, it's just word salad. That kind of cracks me up. They don't, something they don't understand. They say, oh, it's a word salad. That's a common thing these days.
Well, why use words?
Mm.
I mean, we use words to communicate an idea, but in reality, you're prior to words. So, and if you're asking about other people and they say, oh, these people, but okay, but there are no others. There is only your selfless self. Again, just like in a dream, you don't realize that you are all those people that you're seeing in a dream. You don't realize that you're kind of writing the conversation that's going on inside the dream. But you're communicating with your own self in various body forms. When you know yourself in a real sense, you very much understand that the waking state is the same.
Mm. Mm. It's just so easy to identify, to see identifications as being separate or something.
But there are no separate. That's why you don't really have, when you know yourself in a real sense, you won't really go after and attack people or criticize them. Or I've noticed a lot, just for instance, people email me and say, Ramakant Maharaj, the main website, it's being corrupted by Anne, who is putting out her own videos and her own books and all this kind of stuff. And that it says it's the official website of Sri Ramakant Maharaj.
Mm.
Okay, that's disturbing you. However, even Sri Ramakant Maharaj would say, okay, if she wants to play this, then allow. You know, it is who's doing what.
Mm.
And yes, if you go to Ramakant Maharaj USA, I have much respect and much devotion for my master. I have nothing on Ramakant Maharaj USA that has anything to do with this. This is a totally separate website.
Mm.
Because I don't believe in combining them. But you could say, okay, that's my own quote personal belief. It's just the way the gunas are reacting in this body form. I personally wouldn't do that. And I understand that some people are very upset about this Anand Anne
Mhm.
Shaw basically claiming to be Anne Ma or whatever she's doing.
Mm.
But again, she's selfless self. Your selfless self. And Maharaj himself had said, if you feel like it, spread your carpet and begin speaking. Just don't collect money.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no money to be collected. If you're collecting even a penny from any devotee, then the spirituality is mixed with money and it's incorrect. It's wrong.
Mm. Mm.
I mean, I'm quite sure Nisargadatta Maharaj could have charged as much as he
And,
wanted to,
and that's
and
not
he never charged a penny.
and that's not a judgmentalism. It's just a kind of like a truth.
What, that if you charge money? Yeah, well, in our lineage,
The truth, yeah,
I
the
don't want to
money
say
is
it's a
not.
crime, but it's because if you know yourself in a real sense, who are you charging? The knowledge is free. It's everyone's knowledge because there is no everyone. It's just you.
Yeah.
And all seekers in this body form are the formless presence just seeking its own self.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why if you listen to the different various people in our lineage, they go direct to the point. You are that. Even Nisargadatta Maharaj, when people talked about their personal problems and all that, he says, I don't speak at the body level.
Yeah.
You know, if you want the body level, there's many people out there who will charge for seminars and talk about your body-based problems and how you can better handle stress or meditate through a crisis or any of all these things. And here in this lineage, we just say, no, 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 you understand, you're formless.
Yeah.
And all these conceptual problems are only there because you are conceptualizing yourself as something. when you know yourself in a real sense, then nothing is sticking. And
Yeah.
yes, you go about, you do your job, do your duties, but it's not so personal because you're formless.
Mm.
Scenes appear and disappear. And you move through very beautifully without needing any kind of anything. Anything.
And that's one of the trickiest things is to get the, especially intellectually or mentally, the idea that I am formless because it doesn't really make sense. But also, once you start to see it, it's like that's the beauty of what of the lineage or just that statement that you are formless. The beauty of it
Well,
is it
concentrating on a
doesn't make
sense of presence. Presence is formless. You know this. You can sit there and say, like, just die, this formless presence, like air, like space. And then because of this, now the form is within that, in within you. And the sense of presence is known. After you've identified with the sense of presence for a while as your own self, it turns, it just turns just slightly, and oh, whether presence is there or not, I am. Prior to presence, I am. The knowledge of existence appeared to that which existed, just not in any form. So you don't tell yourself you're formless, you experience it directly. Oh, nothing, nothing, nothing. All of this is like a dream, as if I was sleeping right now, laying down at night, except because I don't yet understand that waking and dream is exactly the same because it's forms being created through the formlessness with identification to create a story and an experiencer having experiences. But it's more easy when I wake up in the morning. Oh, that was just a dream. And it, when you know yourself in a real sense, the waking world, so to speak, you know, oh, it's just a dream. This dream will be here as long as this body form is available to experience this dream. And yet, I am not the body.
so
It wasn't the body that experienced the dream.
the body can't really experience anything. It's
Exactly. So that's how you know all that was happening in your dream was formless, even though it appeared as form. It had to have been formless. This lump of goo laying down, formless, the consciousness, the formless presence, whatever you want to say, boom, erupts into a dream world while the lump of goo is sitting. Enjoy, identify with another lump of goo, have a little story going on, experiencing, experiencer, wake up in the morning, lump of goo, all of that occurred formlessly. And yet you were swimming, you were walking, you were talking, you were driving, all these different things.
Hmm.
But all of that experience and every experience is within the bubble of illusion. You cannot have an experience without the illusory state of I'm an experiencer having experiences.
the
That's
fact that
why,
every,
again, go ahead.
the fact that every experience changes is actually kind of evidence that it is formless because nothing can remain.
Well, again, the
Everything
Sri
changes.
Ramakant Maharaj says, no experience, no experiencer, no witness, no witness. Nothing is there. That's the reality.
Yeah.
Within the illusion, you have a witnesser, you have experiences, you have experience, you have things to witness. All that is on the illusion side. No experience, no experiencer, no witness, no witnesser. That's on the reality.
Hilarious. Empty words that we have believed there was substance to them all our lives.
Well, again, the first thing is if I think I'm a body, then the concepts apply.
That was the th thing that is, in the morning I have like fairly clear perception of what is present. And this morning I realized, well, I was sad in a sense, you could say I was satisfied when I was sleeping. Now I just woke up and now I'm able to be dissatisfied. But
I mean,
but
you could be
actually,
dissatisfied in the dream just as easily,
yeah.
having a bad dream,
But
being chased by.
not when you're totally out of it, when you're when you're blanked out in sleep. I don't know if you really, can really even call that a blank because that it might be just an imagination. It's a blank,
Well,
but
all those states appear on you, on
uh,
your presence. You know this because you follow all the way through. As you go to sleep, you have a dream, then there's no dream, you say deep sleep, then dream, then some more deep sleep, and then waking on the other side. If these states didn't appear to you and you were the continuum, you would just disappear.
uh,
But all of these are just appearances on your presence. And that's why you pay them no mind. You understand that the waking consciousness and the dream consciousness is exactly the same. The only thing was the concept, I am dreaming or I am awake. But now you know yourself in a real sense. There's no waking, no sleeping. So there's no waking or dreaming.
there's no dissatisfaction.
There
Yeah,
can't be if you're not a body form.
but yeah, I still was wanting to compare satisfaction with dissatisfaction. There's
And
just
why? That's mind.
uh,
Mind is the one that wants to compare this to that, adding this, taking away that. And as soon as you get into the duality of illusion, then this will happen. And mind loves this kind of trick because you're constantly just focused on the mind. I like to compare this with this.
yeah.
Neither are true. Both are actually air. It's like if you looked up in the sky and you saw a cloud turning into a rabbit and a cloud turning into a dog, and you said, I'd like to compare this dog and this rabbit. And then they disappear. They just dissolve because they never were. But you can spend a lot of time comparing, and doing all this sort of stuff if you want to follow along with mind. You have the thief to catch a thief. It won't work.
It does
Oh,
kind
there's a very bad thief. I'm going to hire the thief to catch this thief.
it does kind of perpetuate the sense of time, for one thing.
Well, again, see, time is a concept. So throw that out. Every time you want to open your mouth to say any concept, you can just ask yourself, is that concept valid for my formless nature? What about the books? Well, the books are within the bubble of illusion because I have to have a body to read a book. The books were good for a time just to let me to get to the point where I kind of use the stepping stones to know myself. But now,
Hmm.
not as useful. Maybe you still do it just as a little routine. That's cool. But
Well,
they're not.
one thing about the book for like Das Bode, one thing I kind of like it because well it it talks about discrimination a lot, and it's almost like, okay, I can say, hey, I'm practicing discrimination, and but actually uh discrimination, the only usefulness for discrimination is to take you to get you to recognize that that you could to discriminate the illusion from being from presence, I guess we could call
Well, what's quite fascinating about Das Bod is every chapter begins with doubts, every chapter ends with the doubt being removed.
it.
So literally, it's like 600 some odd pages of just here's a doubt, we're removing the doubt. And what it does is it shows you like there's a doubt, it's removed. Another doubt, it's removed. To
With
basically
discriminate
show
with
that all
with
doubts are illusory doubts. In the very end, it says you do understand that like God himself wrote this book to unlock the key or unlock the secrets, basically.
it does make discrimination it's done it's written from discrimination or something.
Yeah, but again, that's as Nisargadatta Maharaj used to say, you're no longer at kindergarten level.
Mm.
It's not kindergarten level to say, I need discrimination. We're so far beyond that. We're not in kindergarten level for discrimination or concepts or comparisons or debating or any of these things. We're in a much, much better place because you know yourself, even if you've only experienced yourself just very, very briefly in meditation as a sense of presence, then continue. And direct knowing, direct, you just, it's your self-evident.
Mhm.
And then you won't play in the little spiritual kindergarten pond anymore. Unless you enjoy that, and that's fine too.
Mhm.
There are a lot of people playing in the spiritual kindergarten pond who go around Arunachala 100,000 times because Ramana Maharshi did it, or because they go on some pilgrimage or something because they're trying to get something for the body, and to feel that selfless self-intoxication, but not actually remain with their selfless self.
Hmm. Yeah. Hmm.
And again, in our lineage, we don't do this.
Hmm.
Mindful conceptual meditation. Yeah. I mean, the flow of thoughts. When in meditation, you see the flow of thoughts, and many people will be like, "Oh, I can't meditate because there's too many thoughts. It's too busy." But that's a beautiful thing because you know if you sit there and observe these thoughts, then you're the formless observer of these thoughts flowing by. So you're definitely not body because the body's not observing these thoughts. And you know yourself in a real sense. It's meditation will eventually, slowly, silently, permanently. And mantra gives the mind something to do. Again, the story of the mother wants to cook the food, gives toys to the children so she can concentrate on the cooking without being interrupted. The mantra is running. So when I know truly no thoughts, it's there's just nothing. There's you're not flowing along with them anymore. Maybe thoughts are there, maybe thoughts are not there, but you know yourself in a real sense, so you're not interested, you're not entertained by these thoughts. There's no sticking, there's no place for these thoughts to stick. A thought comes in, oh, what to wear tomorrow. Okay, if this is something, then you go, you pick out the clothes, that's it. Action, spontaneous action in the moment. But
Hmm.
thoughts, personal thoughts of, oh, I wonder what I'll look like, or how this is. This thing makes me look fat. This is not good. It's going to be all these sort of things. This can all be discarded.
Hmm.
And through meditation, you know, okay, as you're remaining with the mantra, you can't concentrate on thoughts because, again, the story mother is cooking, children are playing with the toys, children are no longer bothering mother. Mantra is running, you're observing mantra and concentrating on mantra instead of on all these illusory thoughts. And slowly, silently, and permanently, the illusory thoughts dissolve.
Then what's left?
The observer of the thoughts without any thoughts to observe.
Yeah.
And that will come across
That's
as
the
a sense of presence.
That's the I am we talked about last week.
And that sense of presence, this just I, this subtle sense of presence. And you say, oh, I'm more like this presence than I am this body form. And the subtle knowing, I know the sense of presence. I'm the formless knower of the sense of presence. Presence, the body, the world, other side, I am. Without the knowledge I am. The knowledge I am, the sense of presence. No knowledge I am, no sense of presence. You, formlessly. And when we say formless, that's even a concept because we have to use words to try and describe this like black hole that will suck in all concepts. If you remain with your selfless self, that's why Sri Ramakant Maharaj says, be with you always. All concepts just get sucked in. No concept can because it doesn't make sense. When you remain with your selfless self, it's emptiness and fullness at the same time is the only way you could probably kind of describe it using words.
Mhm.
But again, sense of presence appeared to you. Whether it's there or not, you are. Along with presence came the body. So when the body is no longer able to sustain presence, presence may be gone, but you are.
Mhm.
So no birth, no death, no time, no space, no concepts,
Could you
no
would
world.
could you call it satisfaction in any sense?
Well, who's going to be satisfied?
Mhm.
When you remain with your selfless self, this concept of satisfaction can't hold any weight. It dissolves immediately. Again, that black hole, it just, no concepts can survive there.
Mhm.
And if you are able to entertain a concept, then you're using mind, ego, intellect. And you're in the illusion immediately. Even the concept, I am Brahman. Sri Ramakant Maharaj used to tell people, listen, the concept, I am Brahman or I am God, very nice concept, but still a concept.
Mhm.
Or they would talk about spiritual experiences where they meditate and they see lights or they see the masters lining up and talking to them. Again, within the bubble of illusion, it's an experience. It can be discarded because all experience is within the illusion. No experience, no experience. No witness, no witnesser. Nothing is there. Not nothing, the concept of nothing. Nothing, the absence of everything.
Still tricky to get used to.
No getting used to it. Conviction. You remain with yourself as self. You use mantra until that conviction comes, and then you throw away everything. Like Sri Ramana Maharshi says, you use one thorn to take out another thorn, then you throw both thorns away. And there's once you know yourself, that's the conviction, also that I am that, and it's finished. 1,000 people say, no, this is not the truth. You need to repent. Okay, this is very nice.
You need
Even I
to,
remember years ago, a friend of mine, when I came back from seeing Maharaj, he said, aren't you afraid you'll burn in hell? Well,